Hello, this is our Voice Stories channel.
Hook, only for family. We'd already been through the whole only for family routine before. But hearing those 4 words again cracked something deep inside me. My name's Brooke Sullivan, 35, a financial manager from Buffalo, and apparently, no longer family. I had spent $22,000 on that Hawaii trip, hoping the golden beaches and warm sunsets might somehow mend us after my divorce. Instead, they went without me. No text, no call, not even a postcard. Just silence, a silence laced with betrayal. 2 years, $72,000 in total. Rent, bills, a car for my sister. I'd bought their comfort, thinking it might earn me a place at the table again. But that last phone call stripped the illusion clean away. I wasn't their daughter. I was their bank account. So this time, I wouldn't beg to be included. Have you ever been shut out by the very people you loved most? If you have, share your story below, maybe it'll remind someone they aren't alone. Because when my own family locked me out, I realized I had to learn to stand by myself. Part 2, The Cost of Belonging. That night, Buffalo lay wrapped in soft, falling snow. I sat by my window, laptop open, heart pounding, eyes tracing the cold truth glowing on the screen. My bank statements, black and white proof of everything I'd paid for, $22,000 for their dream vacation, another $50,000 over 2 years for rent, groceries, utilities, furniture, even my sister's used car. Every transaction was a small receipt for love that had never truly existed. I scrolled back through months of payments, $200 for rent here, $800 for some emergency there, each one carving away at my savings and my self-worth. I'd canceled therapy sessions to keep their lights on, skipped weekend getaways to pay their phone bill. All while they were sipping cocktails under Hawaiian palms without me. My mother never apologized. My father didn't call. Marissa didn't text, not even a single lie to soften the blow. The silence that followed made everything clear. I wasn't part of the family. I was funding the family. I leaned back, numb, staring at my reflection in the dark laptop screen. The woman looking back seemed drained, not from work, but from years spent trying to earn affection that was never for sale. I grabbed my phone and dialed Claire Benton, my financial advisor. She answered instantly. "Judith, I need to go over all my accounts tomorrow morning," I said, my voice steadier than my heartbeat. "Of course," she replied. 9 o'clock. "We'll fix this." When I hung up, a strange calm filled the room. For once, I wasn't the desperate daughter anymore. I was the woman who'd finally stopped paying for love. I had spent years buying belonging. Tomorrow, I'd start investing in freedom. Part 3, Quiet Rebellion. A month later, my phone buzzed. Marissa. Her name used to mean laughter. Now, it only meant debt. "Judy," she began, syrup sweet. "The landlord's on me again. Rent's overdue, about $2,000. Can you send it today?" Her tone was light, practiced, the same tone she'd used since childhood to get her way. I didn't hesitate. "Only for family," I said flatly. Silence. Then a nervous laugh. "What's that supposed to mean?" "We are family, Judy. Don't make this weird." Her voice dripped with guilt and charm, but this time, neither worked. For the first time in years, I heard what hid behind her words: need, not love. "I'm done bailing you out," I said, and hung up. My hands trembled, not from fear but from clarity. I opened my laptop and logged into my bank app. The automatic transfers stared back, invisible chains I'd let hold me for years, $200 each month for rent, $300 for her car insurance, $200 for the family phone bill. I canceled them one by one. Each confirmation message flashed like a spark of freedom. When the last one vanished, I exhaled. I wasn't their safety net anymore. Next, I called Claire Benton again. "Judith, I need to lock down my accounts. No more shared access." She didn't ask why. "Come in this afternoon," she said gently. "We'll make it official." At the bank, the papers waited, new passwords, new security layers, alerts for every login. "You're taking control," Judith said softly. "That's not easy." I smiled for the first time in months. "It's necessary." As I signed the final document, I thought of every check, every apology, every silence I'd offered in the name of peace. Not anymore. When I stepped outside, the air felt sharper, cleaner. The city hummed quietly, cars sliding through slush, windows glowing gold against the gray. Somewhere, faint saxophone music floated from a diner. It sounded like freedom. For the first time, I walked without rushing, without counting what I still owed. Every step felt lighter, as if the pavement itself forgave me. Passing a cafe window, I caught my reflection again. The woman there wasn't broken, she was rebuilding. Each breath steadier. Each step freer. I wasn't chasing love anymore. I was protecting peace. As I slipped my new bank card into my wallet, the version of me who used to fix, to provide, to apologize, began to fade. They'd built their comfort on my money. Now, they'd have to live without it. Part 4, The Lawyer at My Door. The next morning, I heard the crunch of tires outside my building, followed by car doors slamming and muffled voices. Peeking through the blinds, I froze. My parents, Marissa, and a man in a suit holding a briefcase stood at my doorstep. The doorbell rang, sharp, impatient. My pulse quickened. This wasn't a family visit. I opened the door just enough to see their faces. "Judy, we need to talk," Marissa said, her tone sticky with false sweetness. The man stepped forward briskly. "Mr. Reeve, attorney for the Warren family," he announced. "Your family is concerned about your recent financial decisions." "Concerned?" I repeated, my voice cold. He straightened his tie. "They'd like to discuss your financial obligations." "Obligations?" The word stung worse than any insult. Marissa crossed her arms. "You can't just stop helping us. We're family. You owe us." My mother nodded. "You've always taken care of us, Judy. Don't turn your back now." My father mumbled, "We need that money to get by. Be reasonable." The air thickened with guilt, the same weapon they'd always used. But I wasn't that woman anymore. "I don't owe you anything," I said quietly. "You made that clear when you left me out." Marissa's face twisted. "You're being selfish." Mr. Reeve raised a hand. "Ms. Warren, we can handle this legally if necessary." I met his gaze. "Then take it to court," I said, and closed the door. Their angry voices rose outside, but I didn't listen. I turned the deadbolt. The metallic click sounded like punctuation, the end of an old chapter. My phone buzzed almost immediately. Unknown number. I ignored it, then again, louder. Finally, I answered. "Buffalo Hardware," a man said cheerfully. "You called about new locks and security cameras yesterday?" "Right. I'd made that call after a sleepless night." "Can you send someone today?" "Absolutely," he said. "We'll have a technician by noon." At 12:07, Jordan arrived, stocky, calm, efficient. "Trying to keep visitors out?" he asked, examining the door. "Something like that," I replied. He worked quickly, installing a heavy deadbolt, motion sensors, and a camera linked to my phone. "This'll catch anyone near the entrance," he said. I watched the red light blink to life, a tiny pulse of protection, of peace. When Jordan left, I locked the door behind him and sank into silence. No voices, no pleading, no guilt. Just stillness. Outside, snow drifted past the window, each flake melting as it touched the glass, proof that nothing stays frozen forever. They'd brought a lawyer to my door. That wasn't family. That was war. They wanted control. They got my defense instead. Part 5, The Courtroom Showdown. 3 weeks later, I walked into the Buffalo courthouse, its marble floors cold beneath my boots, the air thick with echoes of other people's fights. Mine was about to begin. My attorney, Adam Pierce, waited by the bench. "Stay calm," he said quietly. "Truth's on your side." Across the aisle sat my parents and Marissa, their lawyer Mr. Reeve whispering in their ears. They looked polished, rehearsed, as if betrayal could be powdered over. Judge Thomas Ward entered. "All rise." My knees obeyed, but my heart felt heavier than ever. Mr. Reeve started first, his voice smooth as glass. Your Honor, Ms. Warren has shown erratic financial behavior. She abruptly cut off her family's support, leaving them in hardship. He gestured toward Marissa, who dabbed at fake tears. Judy's not herself anymore, she said softly. My father added, she's always been generous, but lately she's unstable. Their words sliced deep, not because they were true, but because a part of me once believed they cared. Mr. Lawson rose. Your Honor, my client isn't unstable. She's independent. He handed the judge a thick folder, pay stubs, bank statements, performance reviews, all spotless. Then came our witness, Dr. Lillian Frost, psychiatrist. Her voice was clear, confident. Ms. Warren is mentally sound. Her actions reflect rational boundaries, not breakdowns. Mr. Reeve tried to twist her testimony. Would you say stress could impair judgment? Stress, she replied calmly, isn't incapacity. The courtroom murmured. For once, I wasn't trembling. When it was my turn, I stood tall. For years, I paid their rent, bills, and comforts. I thought love meant sacrifice. I let the silence stretch. But when they excluded me, I realized I was never a daughter, I was a donor. Setting boundaries isn't cruelty. It's survival. Objection, Hayes snapped. Overruled, Judge Carter said firmly. The rest blurred, closing arguments, shuffling papers, the sterile hum of fluorescent lights. Finally, the judge's voice cut through. The plaintiffs have shown no evidence of incapacity. Case dismissed. Relief hit me like sunlight through a storm. Across the room, Marissa's jaw locked tight, my father stared at the floor, and my mother's face collapsed under her own pride. Mr. Lawson leaned in. You just won your life back. Outside, sunlight spilled across the courthouse steps, turning the snow to gold. For months, I'd walked through storms, now, at last, there was warmth. This wasn't just a victory. It was closure. Part 6, The Life I Paid Myself Back. 3 months later, I stood in my new apartment, the Buffalo skyline glowing like forgiveness through the windows. The air felt lighter here, quieter. No echoes of slammed doors, no whispered guilt. Just space. Mine. The walls were still bare, but peace lived in every corner. I brewed coffee, inhaling the warmth, smiling at how small joys had become sacred again. I unpacked books, a few plants, and one framed photo, me on a Hawaiian beach. I kept it as a reminder, never pay for love that excludes you. A text buzzed. Ruby, my best friend. Dinner tonight, you owe me details about your new freedom. I laughed. She'd been my anchor through the worst of it, and now she wanted to celebrate. That night, over pasta and wine, she raised her glass. To choosing yourself, she said. I clinked mine against hers, the sound bright, clean, free of obligation. I told her my plans, a solo trip to Italy next spring, a cooking class, a savings account I'd named Future Joy. For once, every dollar I earned had meaning, and it was mine. Sometimes I still thought about my family. Marissa juggling 2 jobs, my parents learning to live within limits. I didn't wish them harm, but I no longer confused pity with love. Later, standing by the window, I thought about everything they'd tried to take, my money, my confidence, my voice, and how, in fighting back, I'd reclaimed something priceless, myself. I whispered into the quiet, my worth was never your debt to collect. Outside, buffalo snow began to fall again, soft, unburdened, cleansing the world in white. You don't owe your peace to those who profit from your pain. If you've ever had to walk away from people you loved just to save yourself, tell me in the comments. Your story might be the one someone else needs tonight. And if this found you at the right time, like, subscribe, and share. You're not alone in reclaiming your peace.
Goodbye.